Hello everybody, welcome back to Start McCleary Music. I'm Sean, and today I'm going to take a different turn in my channel. And today I am going to do album reviews, and of course, since AC/DC is my favorite band, I'm going to start with them. I'm going to try to review every albums of theirs, except for the Australian albums, of course. I'm going to basically start out, of course, with their very first album that was released internationally, and that is High Voltage. We're going to talk about all the songs, talk about the best songs, talk about the worst song, talk about the pros of the album, talk about the downsides, and all of that good stuff. So, why don't we get started? The album was released in April 30th of 1976. The album had 9 songs on it. And now, also, before I talk about the songs, I will not be able to play like a clip of the songs. I might for some of them, but, you know, I don't want to get flagged for copyright, so I'm going to try to keep this as good as possible. But, nonetheless, let's talk about the songs here. The very first song on this album is called It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll. Now, this song was really interesting. Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll was originally released as a single on December 8th, 1975 in Australia. Now, and the song once it became one of their very first big hits. Basically what the song was about is like about a rock band on tour that had some hardships during the tour, like such being robbed, assaulted, stoned, or cheated on by somebody. However, you know, like the band accepts these problems, and that basically means it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. The song also had bagpipes on it, you know, which was one of the, probably, I think the only song that had bagpipes on their song. It's like it was a great combination for a hard rock song to have a different instrument besides guitar and bass and drums. It really had a bunch of uniqueness in that song, and that's why it's so successful today. And as of today, this was the signature song for Bon Scott, as Brian Johnson refused to play this song for respect for Bon, because that was basically his song. So let's talk about track number 2. Track number 2 was called Rock and Roll Singer. Now, Rock and Roll Singer was a pretty good song. It was basically it had some good chord progression on it. However, you know, it kind of just seemed like a little basic. You know, it's just basically playing a couple notes with a solo in the middle of it. But Rock and Roll Singer was a pretty good song. I don't know much about it. I still do listen to it. What I do like about Rock and Roll Singer is that it did have good chord progression and it did have a good solo. But the downside is it seemed like kind of basic. So that's all I have to say about Rock and Roll Singer. Let's go on to the third track that's called The Jack. The Jack was a pretty good song. The Jack, like in the beginning, had like that normal blues riff in the beginning, and that actually sounded pretty cool. And it built it up, you know, like it started off soft and slow, and with Bon Scott coming on to the lyrics, and she gave me the queen, or she gave me the king, she gave me the queen, and then it builds up to as the song, you know, carries on forward. So basically, it's a pretty good, just like standard, straightforward blues rock song, and I do like that style of music a lot. And so, The Jack is a pretty good song, but that's all I gotta say about that song. So let's go on to track number 4. That's called Live Wire. Now, Live Wire was a really good song. You know, I did really like the bass solo in the beginning of the song that Mark Evans played. And then later in the song, the guitar chords began to come up. And once again, it started slow. And then a little later, it built up to the point where the song was becoming louder. I really love the chord progression, and I really love the bass in that song. It had one of the loudest bass, or one of the biggest bass solos in I think in the whole album. But yeah, I mean, I do like the album, but you know, I'm not a big fan of that song. I do like it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I do like the creativity and the art that was put into that song, and I do like the lyrics and I do like the solo. But not my favorite song, but it's still a good song. So that's all I gotta say about Live Wire. Let's go on to track number 5, which is called T.N.T. T.N.T. was also a really good song, probably actually one of AC/DC's most known songs. The song starts out with a chord that has been strung out for a long period, and then they begin to do the chord progression and along with an oi on there, and then it built up to the point, and then that's when Bon Scott started saying one of the most creative lyrics and probably in all their AC/DC songs. So lock up your daughters, lock up your back door, run for your life, the man is back in town, don't you mess around. I mean, really fun lyrics to listen to. In fact, it's just a fun song. It's a song that you want to like play games with, or a song that you want to go out and drive with. It's just a song that you could probably just like do anything with and you would love it. And so, yeah, T.N.T. is a really good song. I really love the song to this day. That's all I have to say about it. So let's go on to track number 6. Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? Can I Sit Next to You, Girl, like I said on my AC/DC series, was the very first song that they've released as a single. But I'm not going to talk about the Dave Evans version. I'm going to talk about the Bon Scott version. Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? Honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of, but that's just my opinion, of course. Can I Sit Next to You, Girls? Just basically, yeah, I mean, it does have a good intro to it, but I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of that, you know, that solo or like that style of music that they played in this song. I mean, I like it okay, but it's a song that I'm just not going to pick out as one of the first songs I would play. But they did pretty good when they started out. You know, it was definitely a good song to start out with. So, I mean, I guess it's a good song where that actually made their band, you know, get bigger. But that's a song that I'm not a fan of, and honestly, that's all I could say about that song. So let's go on to track number 7, Little Lover. Little Lover, probably one of their more slower songs on the album. Little Lover, I am not a huge fan of. Also, the one thing I do like about Little Lover is I do like their chorus. I do like how they played the chorus, but like the song as a whole, I mean, it's just basically just doing the same note for a while. But and plus I'm not a big fan of that kind of sound. But the chorus was excellent. I love the chorus. But in the Little Lover, it does also has really colorful lyrics as well. But not a big fan of the song, but they do have creativity in it. But other than that, that's all I could say about that song. So let's go on to track number 8. She's Got Balls. She Got Balls was an alright song. Yeah, I do like you know the chord progression throughout the song. I thought it sounded good, and I do like the chorus. It's an okay song. I do like it pretty good. I do like I do like that blues. Also like that blues riff in the song. So yeah, She's Got Balls is actually it's not a bad song, and I do listen to it every once in a while. But however, that's I don't really have much to say on that song. That's all I got to say about that song. But still a pretty good song. So let's go on to the final track in this, which is also the title track, High Voltage. High Voltage. It was also originally released as a single on June 23rd, 1975, and later released on the Australian album T.N.T. High Voltage. It's a good song. I do like the power in that song. I do like the power, like the high, the overdrive in that song. It's a and the chorus, high voltage rock and roll. I think that was like the meaning of that song. It's like the power of that song. That's high. That's why it's called high voltage. I think it's like that's how much power they got during that song. Yeah, it's really uplifting. It gets you pumped up. It's a good hard rock song. But the weird thing was that their very first album that was in Australia that was called High Voltage, that song was not in there for I don't know why. I thought that was kind of weird, but hey, I guess there is some weird stuff in this world sometimes. But honestly, that's all I got to say about that song. I do like it, and I do still enjoy it to this day. For the whole album, I have some pretty good. I do like the album really good. I do enjoy most of the songs in that album. My favorite song would be T.N.T. Long Way to the Top would be number 2, and my least favorite song would be Little Lover. So yeah, I do like this. I do like, but I still enjoy the whole album, and I give this album a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good album. I definitely would recommend it if you're an AC/DC fan. And that's about it. So anyways, guys, I'm Start McCleary, and I will be releasing the next album reviews pretty soon. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next album. Peace.